Hey, it's Ed here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for SP500 with Elliott Wave Theory. Today we're going to be looking into the macro first here from their all-time highs for the $800 and then again smaller timeframes and comparing this to Nasdaq, how that looks. Before we get into too much of the counts here on SP500, let's take a look at the comparison to the Nasdaq. So in here, let's go to the percentage here and compare this whole thing. Again, on Nasdaq, we are very close to take out already these highs, which would be on S&P these highs. And again, we can see that we have already taken out the previous local highs here. So again, that tells me that we are turning more bullish. Now, we had the idea of as one of the counts where we were looking this as a diagonal, a triangle, where we have this as an invalidation. Now, we haven't had any kind of reaction here yet on this Nasdaq count where we would see that okay, this is about to end. Of course, we have some divergences here happening on RSI here on S&P 500. We have not taken out the highs here on Nasdaq either, but there is a chance that we're just going to be doing that. And this whole count is definitely at risk of invalidation if the price gets beyond the C wave highs, which would lie around, let's fix that, get rid of this guy here, which would be around 42.45. This whole thing would be invalidated. But until that happens, this is still my main count, and I'm going to be looking forward with this, see how this is going to go. The bullish count, the only way of looking at this is something like this, where we have this as a WXYXZ, a triple correction, which in itself is very rare, and then we would be looking for some kind of a continuation, a correction of this previous structure, and then a potential continuation. If we want to be more bullish completely, we would expect this to be some kind of motive wave pattern, in which again, the only way we can be labeling this as a motive wave is some kind of diagonal. How we want to be labeling this is kind of questionable. To me, it's not going to be a very good looking diagonal, making the probabilities of it even lower than I would like to think. But again, there is a way to force this count into being a wave A and wave 1 here, then some kind of running flat here into wave 2 or wave B, and then a continuation of this trend up in here to at least that C wave. That extension of 1 to 1 would be somewhere around, around $4,444, which would be taking out the previous high over here. So again, there is definitely some correlation with this one. There's liquidity here, that's where the price wants to go. But that's the bullish ideas, our local time frames. The other way of looking at this is, of course, that we would have a WXY instead of that ABC that we had on the bullish count, because again this fits a bit better with a ABC like this, and then we would have that same WXY or running flat. I prefer the WXY just based on the last leg here, because again we would otherwise have to be labeling this into a expanding diagonal, which is again possible. I don't mind either of them, so choose one that you like. ABC is fine as well. And then we would be looking for wave Y here to hit the 1-to-1 extension 4,438. That would again take out the previous highs here. And again, that would get us beyond the previous liquidity pool, and then again have the possibility of coming down. So that is the main idea there. Again, as mentioned, the triangle is still there. We have gone through the trend line now. It's not looking as good anymore as it was, but again, we were expecting these new highs to be made. We are still creating higher highs here locally, but lower highs on RSI, creating us divergences. Now we have double divergences here already, which is a good thing to see. On 1 hour time frame, we have not, which is a bit of a different issue, I guess. Currently, we still have some kind of divergence here between these highs and here, but we'll see if that is going to hold. Now the bull count here that we've been tracking for the triangle, has been this, where we had an ABC hitting the 1-to-1 extension of the wave A for that C wave, and then we were looking for a continuation of up based on the previous legs up over here. So in this one again, we would have this as a expanding leading diagonal into wave A or wave 1, through a pullback into wave 2 or B, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4, and then looking for 5th. We're thinking about that diagonal last time as this structure came in more like a three-way structure, through a pullback, and then started to create the next structures over here. And now we have again created 2 new highs here, and again having a slight divergence here, very slight divergence, potential losing of momentum. Not quite a fan of that yet, but we'll see how that turns out. 1-to-1 has been hit, which was comparison to this wave 1 here, and yeah, this is basically the only counter I could be going with at the moment, a diagonal here at the end, so I'm expecting this to come down. Of course, there is a chance that this CPI dumps and pumps are just creating very horrible looking structures here, where we can't really base our counts too much on them, but for now I like this being a 3-wave. The issue with this count currently is that this here looks very decent as a 5. So generally a 5-wave move is either a start or an end of something, and if this is a start, we would need to be ending something in here, which would probably be a structure like that. Now this might be a bit too large in comparison to this wave 2, so again later on, if this does not play out, maybe that is something to look in for, or look out for, sorry. If this is an end of something, we could be looking at this as 3, 3, and 5, but at this point again we have already taken out the highs here, so it's not really that good, because again if this is a 3-way structure like so, we would be looking for 3, 3 up, and then 3 down. So we'll see what that is going to do, but again not really fan of that, because again I don't really find it fitting too well into any of the high time frame counts that I have. But I think that is pretty much all the expectation that I have. Looking for this divergence to see if that plays out, and starting to potentially look for short opportunities here. But that's going to do it for this video. If you want to educate yourself and support me, check out the advertisements at the end. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next video. Bye bye. Couple of advertisements here: Patreon Elliott Wave Basics course, weekly live streams and more Elliott Wave analysis. Udemy Elliott Wave Advanced course, including RSI, risk management, Elliott Wave strategies and time analysis, and candle trend capital, trade setups, education and community. Check us out if you're interested in learning more.